There's a truth that most men will never face. A truth so uncomfortable that they spend their entire lives running from it. It's not failure. It's not rejection. It's solitude. 99% of men can't handle being alone. And that's exactly why they'll never reach greatness. But one man did. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai. The man who fought over 60 duels and never lost. The man who walked the path of solitude not because he hated people, but because he understood something that modern men have forgotten, that true power can only be born in isolation. You see, solitude isn't about being lonely. It's about facing yourself. And that's what terrifies most men. When the noise stops, when there's no music, no phone, no distractions, you come face to face with the one person you've avoided your entire life. Yourself, your fears, your insecurities, your weaknesses. All the things you try to drown out with entertainment, conversation, and constant noise. That's why modern men can't sit still. They can't be alone in silence because silence exposes the truth, and truth hurts. Musashi understood this early. He walked away from comfort, from fame, from wealth. He chose the mountains over the marketplace. He lived in caves, practiced with his sword under the moonlight, meditated beside rivers while others chased pleasure. Because he knew, if you can master solitude, you can master anything. While most men fear being alone, Musashi used it as a weapon. When others trained their bodies, he trained his mind. He studied not just combat, but philosophy, calligraphy, strategy. He became a warrior of body and spirit, and his greatest victories came not from fighting others, but from conquering himself. That's what solitude gives you, a battlefield within your own mind. It's not peaceful at first, it's war. Your thoughts will attack you. Your doubts will scream louder than any enemy's blade. And every instinct in you will tell you to escape, to check your phone, turn on a movie, talk to someone, anything to avoid silence. But the man who can sit with his thoughts and not run, who can face the storm inside his own head, that man becomes unbreakable. Because once you learn to be comfortable alone, you no longer need validation. You no longer seek approval. You no longer fear rejection. You stop living for the world and start living for purpose. That's what Musashi called the way. He said, if you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. Meaning, once you find peace in solitude, you find clarity in all things. Let me tell you something most people won't believe. Every great man you admire, every innovator, every warrior, every genius has walked through the fire of solitude. Steve Jobs spent months alone, wandering through India, searching for clarity. Einstein worked in quiet isolation when he discovered the theory of relativity. Newton locked himself away during the plague and came out having rewritten physics. And Musashi, in his final years, withdrew completely from society to write the Book of Five Rings, a timeless guide on strategy, discipline, and life itself. They all understood one thing. Solitude is the birthplace of greatness. You can't build a strong mind while being distracted. You can't discover your purpose while scrolling endlessly. And you can't hear your inner voice when you're surrounded by the noise of everyone else's opinions. Modern men are addicted to comfort. They mistake loneliness for boredom. They fill every empty moment with something, music, gossip, social media, stimulation, anything to avoid silence. But here's the truth no one tells you. If you can't be alone, you'll never be free. Because freedom isn't about doing what you want. It's about not needing anything to feel complete. Musashi didn't just live in solitude. He thrived in it. He said, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Meaning, detach from ego and connect with something higher. When you spend enough time in solitude, something happens. Your mind slows down. Your thoughts become clear. You stop reacting emotionally and start observing. You stop chasing pleasure and start creating meaning. You stop living for others and start discovering who you really are. And that's when transformation begins. Solitude isn't weakness, it's a test. It's the fire that forges real men. It separates the warriors from the talkers, because the world will always try to pull you away from yourself with noise, distractions, validation, fake connections. But the man who can stand alone, who can walk his own path without the world's approval, is untouchable. He becomes calm under pressure, focused in chaos, centered when everything around him collapses. That's why Musashi won every battle. He had already fought the greatest battle, the one within himself. He once wrote, "To win any battle, you must fight as if you are already dead." That's not about death, it's about detachment. When you faced your fears in solitude, the world can no longer control you through fear, because you've already gone to the darkest place in your mind and made peace with it. So the next time you find yourself restless, reaching for your phone, filling the silence with noise, stop, sit, breathe. Breathe. Face the discomfort, because that discomfort is the doorway to your strength. Every man has two choices: escape himself through distraction or meet himself through solitude. One path leads to comfort, the other leads to power. And here's the Musashi Principle. Only through solitude can a man sharpen his spirit. The sword rusts without friction, and the soul weakens without silence. So take a moment today, 10 minutes, no music, no phone, no noise. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it'll feel like torture. Then it'll feel like truth. And one day it'll feel like peace. Because in that silence, you'll find the man you were meant to become. Society has made solitude look like loneliness, but the ancients knew it's the secret path to mastery. So the question is not, can you handle being alone? The real question is, can you handle meeting the real you? Because when you do, you'll never be the same again. Silence is not emptiness. It's the forge where greatness is born. And that's why 99% of men can't handle solitude. But the 1% who can, they build empires in silence and let the world make noise about it later.